Hello everyone. So we are discussing future tense, and in this video we are going to discuss future unreal conditional. Alright? In our last video we talked about future real conditional sentences, and in this we are going to cover future unreal conditional. Now why are they called unreal conditional? Because in this type of sentences or in this type of formation, we normally imagine certain conditions, all right? Those conditions might not be true or we are not sure about it. And that's why we just imagine about them. So, because of this reason, we call it unreal conditional, all right? This formation is used to talk about imaginary situations in the future. Okay, there are three structures based on kind of formation of the sentence. The first structure is if. After if clause or in if clause, we use simple past tense, then comma, then we use would plus verb. All right, why would? Because if we use will, it shows surety, but we are using would because we are not sure about it. Similarly, if you use would plus verb, then no need to put comma and then if clause with simple past tense in it. Let's see some of the sentences of structure 1. For example, if my dad had some time off work, he would go to London. See, here, as you can see, if and simple past. So, if past tense, if my dad had some time, okay, possession form, but in the past. If my dad had some time off work, he would go to London. Means if he had some time, but he didn't have time. And that's why he couldn't go to London. So we are just imagining the situation that if this would have done, if he had some time, then he would have gone to London. All right. So if my dad had some time off work, he would go to London. Again, why we are using would here? Because we are not sure about it. He is not going to go to London. All right. He's not going to London. And we are just imagining it that if he had some time off work, then he would have gone there. Next sentence. My mother is really busy next month. If she had time, she would meet you. So, my mother is really busy next month. See, we are quite sure about it, and that's why we are using is. Okay, my mother is really busy next month if she had time. Okay, again with if clause we are using past tense because if she had time, right, she would meet you. Okay, but she didn't have time and she couldn't meet you. Now let's talk about structure 2. In structure 2, we have if clause but with were and present participle with it, then comma, and then would be plus present participle. Similarly, we can interchange them, that we already know. Let's see some of the examples of second structure. For example, if If I were going to Mumbai next week, I would be trying to find proper accommodation, right? So again, if I were going, see, why do we use were with I? Because this is unreal condition, okay? Whenever something is unreal, you use were, like if I were this, if I were a bird, okay, like that. But this is not real. So in this type of formation, what do we use is if I were going to Mumbai, okay? If I were going to Mumbai. So were in if clause, there is were and then present participle. If I were going to Mumbai next week, so if I were going to Mumbai next week, I would be trying to find proper accommodation. So would be, I would be, and present participle because it's ing form. Okay, so I would be trying, but this condition is unreal, means maybe we are not going to Mumbai next week. Okay, if at all it happens, then this would happen that I would be trying to find proper accommodation. Next is, if I were not working tomorrow, I would help you. Okay, see, in this, were plus present here, were plus present participle is in the if clause. All right, so were and present participle is in the if clause. That is, if I were not working, that is in the negative form. If I were not working tomorrow, then only I would help you. All right, or I would be helping you. They both are same. I would be helping you. Okay, so if I were not working tomorrow, I would be helping you. But if I am working tomorrow, then I may not be able to help you. All right, this is what they are trying to say here. So if I were not working, then would be helping. Okay, all right. Now let's talk about structure 3. In this type of sentences, if clause, in that we use were going to. Remember, going to is our near future. Were going to plus verb, and then we use comma, and then would be plus present participle. All right, so let's see some of the sentences here in structure 3. For example, if I were going to go to Mumbai, I would be visiting my relatives. Okay, if I were going to go to Mumbai, I would be visiting my relatives. So if I were, see, with if clause, we are using were going to go. We know that with going to, we always use main verb. After that, we have put comma here, would be plus present participle, that is ing form. All right, ing form is also called present participle. All right, so if I were going to go to Mumbai, then I would be visiting my relatives. But if not, then there is no possibility. If, next sentence, if I were not going to visit my grandmother tomorrow, I would help you do homework. Means if I were not, negative form, if I were not going to visit, remember, if I were going to, main verb. comma, I would help you do homework. All right. It can be would be, it can be would. All right. So it makes sense. So what we have been discussing, see, हम बात कर रहे हैं अनरियल कंडीशनल की. क्यों इसको अनरियल कंडीशनल कहा जाता है? क्योंकि ये चीजें, ये कंडीशंस ऐसी हैं जो अनरियल है, जो एक्चुअली नहीं है. हम सिर्फ इमेजिन कर रहे हैं इन सिचुएशंस के बारे में, वो भी इन द फ्यूचर सेंस. ओके, उसके कुछ फॉर्मेशंस हैं. फर्स्ट फॉर्मेशन ऐसा है कि इफ क्लॉज के साथ, इफ माई डैड हैड सम टाइम ऑफ वर्क, अगर मेरे फादर के पास थोड़ा टाइम होता तो ही वुड गो टू लंदन, तो वो जाएंगे. बट वो नहीं जाएंगे अगर उनके पास नहीं है तो. यहाँ पे हम सिर्फ चीजों को इमेजिन कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. वाई वी आर यूजिंग वुड हियर एंड नॉट विल? बिकॉज वी आर नॉट श्योर अबाउट इट. हमें पता है कि विल हम बट बहुत श्योर होते हैं तभी हम यूज करते हैं. सेकेंड स्ट्रक्चर है इफ के साथ हम प्रेजेंट पार्टिसिपल, इफ के साथ वर और प्रेजेंट पार्टिसिपल. क्यों वर यूज करते हैं? क्योंकि अगेन जब हम कुछ चीजें इमेजिन करते हैं तब हम वर यूज करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई वर गोइंग टू मुंबई, अगर मैं जा रहा हूं तो आई वुड बी ट्राइंग टू फाइंड प्रॉपर अकोमोडेशन. अगर ये चीज होती है तो आई वुड बी ट्राइंग टू फाइंड प्रॉपर अकोमोडेशन. ओके. सेकेंड सेंटेंस आपका ऐसा है कि इफ आई वर नॉट वर्किंग टुमारो, अगर मैं कल काम नहीं कर रहा हूं तो आई वुड बी हेल्पिंग यू, तो मैं आपको हेल्प करूंगा. थर्ड फॉर्मेशन में क्या होता है? अगेन इफ क्लॉज तो आता ही है. इफ आई वर गोइंग टू, ये नियर फ्यूचर की बात हो रही है. अगेन कंडीशन है जिसमें हम सिर्फ ऐसी चीजों को इमेजिन करते हैं. इफ आई वर गोइंग टू, if I were going to Mumbai, I would be visiting my relatives. Again, अगर ऐसा हुआ तो ऐसा होगा. right? क्यों would use करते हैं? Same reason, because we are not sure about it. Because we are not sure that हम जाएंगे मुंबई, तो फिर उसके resultant condition का तो there is no question about it. So this is how we are using, we can use this future unreal conditional sentences. So till now we are done with this future tense. If you have any doubts or concerns or queries, you can definitely let me know in comment section. Next video we'll see some more topics of grammar. Till then, goodbye.